I want to play you a little bit of Macron talking to Brett Baer earlier this evening, just a few minutes ago, about tariffs, because I want to check in with you both on where you think the tariff debate is. So please roll, Monsieur Macron.
And I hope I did convince him on trade and tariffs.
Which was what? I mean, he wants to do reciprocal.
No, I told him, it's very important for you not to launch new tariffs. That is not a tariff. And I argued, which is true.
But this thing is reciprocal. If you tariff us, we're going to tariff you.
I agree, but we don't tariff you. So we don't move. So but my point, and it's very important first, we are super intertwined. Our economy are totally intertwined. $1,500 billion of exchange, products and goods and digital services. Can you imagine? There is no other economies like Europe and the US. Second, we didn't tariff the US. We want to cut red tape for us as Europeans, and it will simplify the life of your companies, fine. But I think the solution in this very moment is not to increase tariffs. Why? Because the emergency is to increase our defense and security expenditures. How do you want us to increase security and defense expenditures if we are a trade war?
Do you think you made a breakthrough today?
And second, what is your priority? I understood your priority is to put tariff on China because President Trump said they are unfair with us. Come on, you cannot have a trade war with China and Europe at the same time. I hope I convinced.
First of all, I love the way he says intertwined. So Steve, he seemed to me to make two kind of like shaggy dog arguments. One is, hey, you want us to talk about defense, don't make us talk about tariffs. And the other is, you want to have a trade war with China, do that, don't have a trade war with Europe. Do you support, used to work for Mr. Gephardt, who was a big trade hawk, do you support any aspect of the president's tariff scheme?
I don't support, blanket 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada when we have a free trade agreement with them, which, I worked for someone who was not a free trader, and we opposed NAFTA at the time. But the Congress, with virtually unanimous Republican votes, passed it. And Republicans and Democrats together got it done. And I respect the will of the people. And if that's what they wanted, that's what we should do. There are certainly places where we should have tariffs and we should have a discussion about tariffs. We should be cognizant, though, that when you do tariffs, there's a downside risk. And the downside risk is you're going to raise prices. And to me, that's counterintuitive to I'm going to solve the price problem on day one. Here we are on day 34.
Hogan, how do you feel about the president's tariff taunts?
I mean, look, he did that in the first term, as we well know. He's also used them quite effectively to get what he wanted from other nations, whether it be Mexico to step up, provide some military services to prevent drugs pouring into our country, other things. These economic policies are always interesting to me because, as Trump likes to say, these are just reciprocal. You tariff us, we're going to tariff you. What's the problem with that? I think most Americans get it. I do think it's incumbent upon the administration to explain why. If there's a national security component, let's have that conversation. It should be noted we had tariffs in the Trump administration first time. Joe Biden kept those tariffs in place. He did not get rid of them. Now Trump comes back in, as we know, and he ran on this. He wants to tariff nations that he feels are taking advantage of us and have been for some time. And there are plenty of nations who treat us poorly economically, no question. So again, economic policy has an immediate kind of shift and you feel some of the stuff immediately, but then there's a long-term drip effect to it as well. And so it remains to be seen what ones actually get put in place. Otherwise, we're just talking in theory here, and what it actually does to the American people in their pocketbook. That's what's going to matter. If it's good for them, they won't care. If it's bad for them, they will.
I appreciate you both always sharing your thoughts. I'm really interested in both the